First, we are happy to be joined again by the congressman from Texas and the candidate for president of the United States on the Republican ticket. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the show Congressman Ron Paul. Good morning, Congressman Paul. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. So Newt's getting out today, finally.
Right.
This is one of the least surprising announcements in the history of politics. It's been going on forever. And on the personal side, Congressman Paul, what do you think took Newt this long to make this decision and to run up all those bills?
Isn't that fascinating? And it's a lot of money. It's not a good way to run for a slot that you're supposed to be a fiscal conservative and end up with a couple or several, maybe $4 million of debt. That's not a very good example. I have no idea why it continued that long, but I guess maybe he was hoping for the best and something else would happen, but maybe maneuvering to help get his debt paid off. I have no idea.
Well, now that brings us to the other obvious question, which is why are you continuing your campaign at this point when the math is so obviously against you?
Because we're very solvent and our crowds are getting bigger, so there is a little bit of disconnect, but what the perceptions are and what's really happening. And actually the delegate accumulations are still occurring, at these various state conventions. And we're trying to not only win the election, but we're trying to change things where we actually change the party to become fiscal conservatives and change the foreign policy and address the subject of the monetary system. So that continues, and we keep winning. I mean, several of the state chairmen now are Ron Paul supporters, and many delegates that are going to the convention may be pledged to Romney, but they really are supporters. So our presence at the convention certainly will be felt. So we will continue to get people to the convention one way or the other because we're looking long-term as well as anything else.
We're talking with Congressman Ron Paul, who is in California. Are you just campaigning? Is there anything specific you'd like to tell us about today?
Yes, we'll be at Cal State tonight at 7 o'clock at the Titan Stadium, and it's open to the public. We've been getting very good turnout. As a matter of fact, California has given us the biggest turnouts of any state, although others have been good, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 elsewhere. But they've been up to 8,000 here in California. So I have no idea what we'll get at Cal State, but they tell me we'll have a nice turnout.
Well, let me ask you about California, because this was the state that was known as Reagan country. And in the midterm elections in 2010, when there was a huge wave, a repudiation, if you will, of the first 2 years of the Obama administration, the Tea Party made its impact felt all over the country. Big seat change in Congress with 60-plus House seats changing, Senate seats changing. But the Sierra Nevada mountains acted like a giant breakwater. Whatever that move to the right was nationally just stopped cold when it hit the California border. And there's not a single Republican conservative in statewide office in the state of California for the first time since the peak of the New Deal. What is the disconnect? What do conservative libertarians in California do to change that?
Well, I don't know, but something's going to have to change. I think right before I came on, you talked about the deficit that the state of California is facing. So it can't continue. They're going to have to eventually listen to an alternative. Maybe somebody's spending too much money, not only at the federal level, maybe there's people spending too much at the local level. But exactly why California might be behind the need to cut. But this is also a reflection because there's very little enthusiasm for cutting. But liberal economics teaches that deficits aren't all that bad if the economy is weak. You never want to cut spending. All you have to do is spend more money, borrow more money, and print more money. And that's how we got into this trouble. So it's rather ironic. Of course, that's our task in our campaign, is try to get people to think about economics in a different way, that just bigger government isn't the answer to big government.
I want to steal a couple seconds here if I can. The president is on his way back from Afghanistan. He announced troop withdrawals, but we will obviously be involved in Afghanistan for many years to come. What should the U.S.'s stance be when it comes to the war on terror abroad?
Well, I think we shouldn't precipitate terrorism, and when you drop bombs from drone missiles and kill hundreds, and now there are thousands of people who are considered civilians and uninvolved have been killed. The children have been killed. I mean, that's an act of terrorism on these people. They feel terrorized by bombs dropping out of the sky. And every time you kill one, there's another family or 100 people who would like to do us harm. So I would like to end terrorism.
Should we have gone into Pakistan to take out bin Laden?
Well, I certainly voted, for the authority about it. But the real tragedy is we sort of had him trapped at Tora Bora.
Yeah, I know. We let him out.
And we let him go, and then we went into war.
Congressman Paul, we're short on time here. We thank you for your time. We'll talk to you down the road. Congressman Ron Paul.